Hello, my name is Marissa Rodriguez, and this is my school profile SWOT analysis for Education 590. In this presentation, I will provide background information on George K. Porter Middle School. I will highlight the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the school. At the conclusion of the presentation, I will provide recommendations that support the school, teachers, parents, and students. George K. Porter Middle School is located in Granada Hills and is part of the Los Angeles Unified School District. The principal of the school is Mrs. Dawn Johnson, and as it is a middle school, it serves grades 6th through 8th. The chart on the screen displays the diverse student demographics of the school. Looking at race and ethnicity, we can see that a majority of the population of students are Hispanic at 75.1%, so on and so forth. We can see the percentage of socioeconomically disadvantaged students, English language learners, students with disabilities, homeless, and foster youth. Now, as we dive into the SWOT analysis, we will begin with highlighting some of the strengths of this school. So we'll first start off by recognizing the Smarter Balanced Summative Assessment scores. There has been some improvements in just 1 year. As you can see on the screen, this chart displays 2 school years. It displays 2017-2018 school year on the left-hand side, and it displays 2018-2019 school year on the right-hand side. Now, the chart, it displays the percentage of students either meeting or exceeding the standards for both ELA and math. When comparing the ELA standards for both years, we can see that there was about a 5% increase in scores. And looking at the math percentages, there was about a 3% increase, which is still overall a good improvement from the following year. More strengths to recognize are school awards that they have received or Porter has received. In 2007, Porter Middle School was nominated and received the California Distinguished School Award. And that award honors schools that demonstrate significant gains in narrowing the achievement gap. So they demonstrate academic excellence and improvement in that area. In 2016, they were awarded the Green Ribbon School Award. And that award, it is for excellence in resource efficiency, health, wellness, and environmental and sustainability education. Those are pretty big awards to receive. And then other strengths as well are the resources that the school has to offer the students. So right now, the students have a 1-to-2 Chromebook to student ratio. And although there are schools that do have 1-to-1 ratios, which is awesome, this still allows students to use Chromebooks in the classroom on a daily basis now that they are back to in-person learning. In terms of the textbooks, all textbooks are updated and current, so they have the most recent version of their textbooks. And textbooks are 1-to-1 student ratio, so every student is provided with a textbook. More strengths to acknowledge are the electives that the school has to offer. So electives tailored towards diverse learners. There is a Spanish elective, robotics, computer science, music, and art. There is a behavior management system that this school takes pride in. They call it Porter Pride. And this type of behavior management system, it clearly states the behavioral expectations. and it helps create a positive learning environment for all the students at the school. Now, this chart is taken from directly their website, and it dives into each letter and what it stands for and how the students are expected to act out those behaviors. Now, students are recognized for their Porter Pride and for displaying and showing Porter Pride on a daily basis. So whether they are getting incentives from staff members and teachers, or they're just being recognized for following those behavioral expectations, this is something that is widely practiced at the school. And it ultimately promotes a great student learning environment. Another strength would be the Junior Honor Society that Porter Middle School has, called the Olympians. And it is a scholarship society that just encourages and recognizes students who are high achieving, and those students share opportunities of service with the school. And then the last strength that I am highlighting is the PTSA. Now, the PTSA is a nonprofit group comprised of parents, students, and staff who work together to bring programs to enrich the education of students and improve and support the school. So the parents and students and staff members who are involved in this program, they meet monthly to discuss current events and to discuss the school, and they work together to brainstorm on how to improve. So that is a great way to be inclusive of your school community. All right, switching it up, looking at the weaknesses. Some of the weaknesses that I have come across was an increase in absenteeism. So starting our COVID year up until now, there has been a 14.9% increase there's been a 14.9% of chronically absent students, which totals to an 8.6% increase, which is a pretty big increase in students who are absent. And that definitely is a sign of weakness, as absences do control budgets. And then another weakness is the large class sizes. So at Porter, the classes range from about 28 to 36 students per class. And then looking at the special ed program, there has also been an increase in class sizes for those programs as well, which just raises the student to teacher ratio and prevents students from getting that one-on-one instructional time. So that can definitely be seen as a weakness. Lack of technological knowledge among teachers and staff. So at Porter, there is a great amount of staff members. A lot of these staff members have been working at the school for quite some time. Now, with that being said, they are not as caught up on technology and how we have been utilizing, resources and online resources throughout this pandemic year. So that can be a sign of a weakness. Now that they are back in in-person instruction, the students are familiar with using technology and they are trying to implement the technology in the classroom. However, there are a lot of teachers that are shying away from it just because they are not comfortable. Another weakness we can see is lack of parental involvement and engagement. So there has been definitely a decrease in parent communication. There is a parent participation survey that gets sent home yearly, and this year there was a significant decrease in the amount of surveys that got returned, just showing that participation and involvement is down. Now, looking at the opportunities of the school, there are clubs and activities that students can partake in, such as the 100 Mile Club, the Eco Club, robotics, yearbook, leadership. These clubs really tailor to different types of learners, where areas of strengths are, what students are interested in, and it is a great way to incorporate that student community in the school by joining these clubs and activities. So these are being promoted throughout the year, and these are just a few that were listed, so there are quite a few more. They provide after-school programs, or Porter provides after-school programs such as After-School All-Stars, Beyond the Bell Youth Services, and YMCA services. Now, these services, of course, are for students who stay after school, and they offer fitness, sports activities, supervised enrichment that develops basic movement skills, strong and healthy bodies, teamwork, sportsmanship, social skills, and more. More opportunities that are positively looked at is just the technology resources that has been offered to parents. So coming back from that in-person learning year, a lot of parents had to figure out how to help their students online. While it was difficult for many, what I liked about Porter's school website is they have a directory of online resources that can tailor to different subjects, that can tailor to different criteria, that can help parents help students at home. The principal offers coffee with principal meetings. So in the calendar, she marks off these special meetings, and they are Zoom meetings. However, it gives parents the opportunities to join in on the Zoom and directly hear updates from the principal. So upcoming events that are happening, updates from CDC, health guidelines, COVID restrictions. It basically is just a form of communication where the parents feel included, and the principal is making more of a personal attempt to keep parents and families informed. And then, of course, an opportunity that should not be overlooked is just the district resources during COVID-19 and the resources that continue to offer students, such as meals. During our pandemic year, a lot of meals were provided to families in need, not only during the school year, but after school, on the weekends, just to make sure that everybody was getting what they needed. Devices. So the district provided each student that needed technology devices with a Chromebook. And then they allocated funds to offer more counseling services. So there was many counselors available, and still are available, in the school, online, via Zoom, and provides students and families with extra resources and hotlines for counseling services. Now, looking at some threats at the school, of course, we can note the effects of COVID-19. So now that the kids are back in person, there is that campus safety and health concern. So students are being around a big group of people again. Regardless, yes, they are taking safety precautions, but they are still they can still be exposed. Some students are still having to quarantine, which takes them away from their in-person learning time. And just the playing catch up from returning from online learning. So it's been a big adjustment for students to get back into the groove of being in the classroom and doing less work online independently and more in a structural classroom setting, with teacher and students and lecture styles. Another threat is a decrease in enrollment. So there has been a decrease in enrollment since the pandemic, and that not only affects, of course, budget, but it affects class sizes. It affects the amount of teachers being able to be spread out throughout the school. And then the use of technology. So I would consider the use of technology a threat just because technology is changing very rapidly, and whether it's teachers or students learning or implementing a new online resource, a new method of learning, it does take a while for kids to catch up, and that can be seen as a threat. So my recommendations for teachers and staff is for technology training to be provided. Now this will build professional expertise and learning. So any teachers who feel that they are in a technology gap, they can be more comfortable in providing resources to their students and learning how to navigate the technology. So they are comfortable in the classroom and they are comfortable assisting their students in the classroom as well. Smaller class sizes would definitely help. It would result in more individual attention, increased participation for students, and better communication overall between the instructor and students. My third recommendation would be to host parent workshops monthly to boost involvement and engagement. So these workshops would be tailored specifically to parents and can range from how to have an effective parent conference, how to communicate with your teacher, what questions to ask about your students' academic performance, creating an effective and learning environment for their child at home, and then of course understanding your child's test scores, understanding how they are performing in the classroom. So sometimes parents are hesitant to reach out or communicate with the teacher because they don't necessarily know what questions to ask. So I feel that this will promote more parent engagement, more parent involvement, and it will help parents be more comfortable and aware of what their children are learning, what they are doing, and how they can ultimately help them. My last recommendation is for students to boost morale, to improve that absenteeism percentage, and by incorporating Trojan Spirit Days throughout the month, I feel like that would help. It would boost school morale and encourage higher attendance. So, incorporating Trojan Spirit Days, it would help students get invested in their campus activities, and it would help them come to school more willingly, happily, and make better choices. So these activities can include, but of course are not limited to, grade level picnics, some dances, movie nights, spirit weeks, dress up days, club activities, gallery art walks. Any type of activity or event that students can be excited for, it will encourage them to be more involved on campus. And especially if this is incorporated somehow in their schoolwork and in their classrooms, it can also increase that level of participation. Right, and this concludes my recommendations. Here are my references. I hope you enjoyed learning about George K. Porter Middle School. Thank you.